What if the secret to transforming your entire life wasn't hidden in big changes, but in the first quiet hour of your day? While most people are rushing, reacting, and running behind, a few are taking control before the world even wakes up. Because how you start your morning doesn't just shape your day, it shapes your mindset, your habits, and ultimately, your future. Let me share something that could completely shift the direction of your life, and it begins before the clock even strikes, 9 a.m. The truth is, too many people spend their mornings in chaos. They hit the snooze button again and again, rush out the door in a panic, constantly chasing time instead of owning it. They live reactively by default, not with intention or design. But here's a powerful shift in perspective. Your morning isn't just the start of your day, it's the foundation of your future. That early window holds more influence than most people realize. So let me ask you, how do you begin your morning? Is it random or is it intentional? Are you waking up with clarity and purpose, or are you simply waking up and surviving? Because here's the truth. If you win the morning, you win the day. And if you win enough days in a row, you start to win the year. And eventually, you win your life. It's not about having a flawless routine or checking off a perfect to-do list. It's about choosing direction over drift, discipline over delay, design over default. Sometimes just one or two simple habits, consistently stacked in the morning, can unlock clarity, energy, and results beyond what most people even think is possible. So here's my challenge to you. Don't wait for Monday or the next new month. Start today. Rethink the way you wake up. Because if you don't create a morning routine, life will hand you one. And trust me, it won't be the one you want. Stick with me, because in this video, I'm going to walk you step by step through how to build a personal, productive, and powerful morning routine. One that doesn't just start your day right, but one that sets you up for success again and again. Let's begin with what matters most. The first hour of your day. Master it, or be mastered by it. Think about this. The moment your eyes open, before the world has a grip on your thoughts, before the noise, the news, the notifications, that is your golden window. That first hour isn't just 60 minutes. It's a sacred space, a blank page, a choice. And the way you use that hour determines whether you run your day or your day runs you. Here's the problem. Most people don't actually have a morning. What they have is an emergency. They roll out of bed late, skip reflection, grab their phone like it's life support, and dive head first into the chaos. No vision, no clarity, just reaction. But I want to offer you something different. What if your first hour became your training ground, your advantage, your personal edge? Because if you can learn to master that hour, you can shape the tone of your entire day and eventually direct the course of your destiny. Here's what I've learned. Discipline starts before breakfast. That early window sets the emotional and mental rhythm. It builds momentum. It speaks to your mind and says, "This day belongs to me." Imagine it this way. Your morning is like your personal boardroom. It's where the CEO of your life, that's you, decides what kind of day you're about to lead. So let me ask you directly. Do you walk into your first hour with a clear plan? Or do you stumble into it like a leaf caught in the wind? Because if you don't take control of that hour, the world will. And let me tell you, the world is loud, pushy, and filled with demands that don't align with your dreams. It's got messages, headlines, stress, and distraction, all waiting to hijack your mind. So let's get practical. What does mastering that first hour really look like? It's not about cramming in 20 tasks. It's about choosing a few small disciplines and doing them with intention. Here's a simple routine to consider. Wake up with intention, not anxiety. Sit in silence before the noise arrives. Write down your goals, even if they haven't changed. Read 10 pages of something that nourishes your mind, not your fear. Move your body, even if it's just a short walk or some light stretching. And most importantly, decide who you are. going to be today, you don't need to be perfect. But you do need rhythm. You need commitment. You need consistency. Because when the first hour is led with purpose, the rest of the day tends to follow, like a well-trained horse following a strong rider. In the last part, we talked about mastering the first hour of your day, treating it not as an accident but as a sacred ritual. Because when your morning is intentional, your entire day begins to move in alignment with your goals. But what happens when it's not? If that first hour begins in chaos, you'll spend the rest of your day in recovery mode, trying to catch up, trying to regain control, and often feeling behind. I've experienced this personally, more times than I care to admit. On the days I treated my morning like a rushed afterthought, my outcomes looked just as scattered. But the days I approached my morning like a ceremony, with clarity and calm, those were the days where everything seemed to flow in the right direction. And the beautiful truth is, it only takes one simple decision to begin. Not someday, not after the weekend, tomorrow morning. You wake up, you claim that first hour, and you lead it with intention. You set the tone, you plant the flag, and you start the day not as a follower of distraction, but as the leader of your life. Because if you don't master that opening hour, eventually, life will start mastering you. And that's not the path I want for you. I want your mornings to become your launchpad, not your excuse. Let that first hour elevate you, not drag you into apology. So start here. Master the morning. Master the moment. And over time, you'll look around and realize you've begun to master the life you once only imagined. Now let's shift into a principle that changed everything for me, and might just change everything for you. Ready? Here it is. Success doesn't appear by accident, it appears by appointment, not by luck, not by talent alone, not even by wishing hard enough. Success lives in your schedule. Let that sink in. It's not buried in some far-off future. It's hidden in your calendar. In those small, often overlooked blocks of time most people toss away without thinking twice. You see, your calendar isn't just where you log meetings and birthdays. It's where you quietly build your future. Decision by decision, block by block. Now don't get me wrong. I'm not suggesting you cram your day full of tasks and hustle until you burn out. That's not the goal. The goal is intentional time. Time that reflects the person you want to become. Because here's what I've learned the hard way. You can't live a first-class life on a second-rate schedule. So let me ask you, if I looked at your calendar for this week, would I see your dreams on there? Would I see time for growth, reading, thinking, building? Would I see time set aside for your health, for your relationships, for your passions? Or would I see endless errands, back-to-back meetings, hours lost to mindless scrolling, lots of movement, but not much progress? You see, success isn't something that sneaks up on you in the distant future. It hides in the present moment, in your daily routine, in how you choose to use your hours. And the biggest difference between those who struggle and those who soar isn't time. It's deliberateness. We all get the same 24 hours, the broke and the wealthy, the distracted and the disciplined, the ones who drift and the ones who drive. The difference? Their schedule. Because your life will always move in the direction of what you consistently give your time to. Want a stronger body? Schedule your workouts. Want a sharper mind? Schedule your learning. Want deeper relationships? Schedule connection, time. Want freedom? Schedule discipline. So here's what I recommend. Stop living from memory. Start living from a design. Design a day that nudges your life forward, not backward. Design a week that reflects what you value, not what's stressing you out. And don't pressure yourself to perfect it all on day one. That's not the point. Start small. Block 30 minutes each morning just for you. Block 20 minutes at night to reflect, reset, and realign. Give your goals a protected time slot, because if it matters, it deserves space on your schedule. Your future isn't something you stumble upon by accident. It's something you intentionally schedule. And here's the most empowering part. Once you take control of your time, you stop living like a victim of your calendar and start living like the architect of your life. We talked about how success doesn't happen by chance. It's something you schedule. Your calendar is more than a list of tasks. It's the blueprint of your future. And now that you understand that, here's your next step. Don't just fill the hours, invest them. Take a good, honest look at your day. Then take a closer look at your week. Ask yourself, are these hours pushing me forward or just keeping me busy? Because every minute you spend is either moving you closer to your dreams or dragging you away from them. So, put success on the calendar. Literally. Schedule time for what matters. And then show up to that time like your life depends on it. Because in many ways, it does. You either take control of your schedule or your schedule takes control of you. And let's be real. Only one of those. Paths leads to a life of purpose. The other, a life of regret. So choose intentionally, design deliberately, and schedule the success you say you want. And here's a deeper truth that every truly successful person knows, even if they don't always say it out loud. Your rituals reveal your results. Let me explain what that means. You don't stumble into success. You create it, and the tool you use to create it, your rituals. Now, I know you might be asking, what exactly is a ritual? Well, here's the answer. A ritual is more than just a habit. It's a decision made sacred through repetition. It's not just something you do. It's something you commit to doing every single day, with purpose, with meaning, and with direction. The problem? Most people want the results, but ignore the rituals. They want the six-figure income, but not the early mornings. They want a strong, energized body, but avoid the daily movement. They want peace of mind, but never make time for stillness or silence. But here's the reality. Your rituals tell the truth. They reveal whether you're serious or just wishing. They expose the direction your life is headed long before any results show up. Because what you repeat, you eventually become. So let me ask you something powerful. What do your current rituals say about you? Do they reflect discipline or distraction? Do they whisper growth or scream stagnation? Do they speak of purpose or just survival? Because it's not what you occasionally do that shapes your destiny. It's what you do consistently, when no one's watching, when no one's clapping, when no one's asking. Let's break it down with a simple example. Want to become a reader? Start with just 10 pages a morning. That's 300 pages a month, over 3,600 pages a year. That's not just reading. That's identity transformation. Want to become more fit? Move your body every morning. You don't need an hour. Just start with 15 minutes. Remember, rituals aren't about duration. They're about devotion. And here's the secret. In the beginning, you shape your rituals, but over time, your rituals shape you. They build your confidence. They develop your mindset. They begin to structure your life from the inside out. Your results are simply a mirror. They reflect the rituals you've repeated again and again. So if you want better outcomes, don't start with the goal. Start with the ritual. What should you do? Don't try to do everything. Choose a few powerful actions. Do them well. Do them daily. No excuses, no drama, no waiting on motivation. Because discipline will always outperform motivation. So build a ritual for your body. Build one for your mind. Build one for your spirit. And stack those wins early in the day, because how you begin your day often becomes how you live your life. Rituals are your signal to the world and to yourself that you're serious. So don't just chase outcomes. Build the foundation that creates them. And here's the good news. To change your life, you don't have to change everything. You just need to change your rituals. Start small, stay consistent, and soon your results will rise like the sun, quiet, steady, unstoppable. We explored how small, consistent rituals can completely transform your life. Now let's zoom in on one of the most overlooked rituals, the first decision you make the moment you wake up. It might seem harmless, even trivial, but it holds more power than you think. Let's talk about the snooze button. You see, snoozing isn't just a sleep habit. It's a mindset issue. It's not about getting a little extra rest. It's about what you're really telling yourself with that first choice of the day. And what is that choice saying? It says, I'd rather delay than start. It says comfort is more important than commitment. It says later when your dreams are asking for now. And here's the truth. That small, lazy habit doesn't stay small. It grows. And over time, it becomes a pattern. A pattern that shapes a lifestyle. A pattern that can slowly build into a life of hesitation and regret. Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. If you delay the day, you'll delay the dream. If you start your morning with avoidance, you're likely to end your day with excuses. So let me challenge your perspective. What if the first 5 minutes of your morning became the most powerful 5 minutes of your day? What if instead of hitting snooze, you hit strategy? Because here's the reality. Your bed is designed for rest, not for retreat. And your morning? It's meant for action, not avoidance. You don't need to redesign your whole life. You just need to make a better first decision. Replace that lazy reflex with a winning ritual. Get up on the first alarm, not because it's easy, not because you're instantly motivated, but because you said you would. That's where confidence is built. Not when it's convenient, but when it's challenging. By keeping promises to yourself when nobody's watching. Then what? Start simple. Drink water. Hydrate your body. Move for a few minutes. Wake up your muscles and your mindset. Write down your goals. Remind yourself of what matters. And most importantly, don't touch your phone. Don't scroll. Don't start your day inside someone else's life. Start in yours. This is the shift from passive to powerful, from reaction to routine, from snooze to strategy. Now I know what some people say. Jim, I'm just not a morning person. But I'll say this, that's not your identity. That's just a pattern. And guess what? Patterns can be changed. You just have to want the outcome more than the excuse. Lazy habits don't vanish on their own. If you don't replace them with something better, they'll always find their way back. That's why you need to build a new pattern, a new response, a new version of yourself. One who rises, not because it's easy, but because purpose is calling. Because progress doesn't wait. Because your future isn't hitting snooze. Every time you hit snooze, you're training your brain to delay your life. But every time you rise with intention, you're training yourself for greatness. So make the choice, not once, but every single morning. No more hesitation, no more lazy starts. Trade that snooze button for structure, for self-respect, for success. Because your dreams, they're not sleeping in. They're waiting on the other side of your alarm clock. And while you're waking up your body, don't forget the second most important part. Fuel your mind. Let me ask you this. What's the first thing you're feeding your mind in the morning? Because just like your body needs nutrients, your mind needs fuel too. And if you start the day with junk, don't be surprised when your thoughts are foggy, your attitude is weak, and your results feel mediocre. Here's the truth. The first thoughts of your morning shape the quality of your day. And over time, the quality of your days shapes the quality of your life. But most people, they wake up and immediately feed their mind with noise, the news, gossip, social media, endless scrolling. They open their eyes and flood their brain with anxiety, drama, and distraction, and then wonder why the rest of the day feels like a constant battle. But you're not here for average. You're here to grow. You're here to build something better. And that begins by feeding your mind the right nutrients first thing in the morning. So let me be direct. You need to study more than you scroll. You need to seek wisdom before you soak in distraction. Because ideas are the seeds of change. And every morning, it's a fresh chance to plant them. Previously, we talked about fueling your mind, because what you feed your thoughts in the morning shapes how you face your day. And here's the good news. It doesn't require hours of study or a massive time commitment. So don't stress. I'm not asking you to spend 5 hours buried in books. I'm talking about something simple, sustainable. Just 15 or 20 minutes, that's it. Start small and stay consistent. A few pages of a powerful book, 10 minutes of a meaningful podcast. Listen to a mentor who's walked the path you're heading. Down. Let your morning become your classroom, not your crisis. Because every single day, you're either sharpening your mind or letting it go dull. And in today's world, a dull mind is a dangerous thing. You've got dreams to chase, skills to sharpen, strategies to develop, and mornings offer the mental space to do it before the world demands your attention. Here's what happens when you feed your mind first thing. You think with clarity, you say. Speak with conviction, you act with direction. Your decisions improve, your focus sharpens, and your day begins to align with your goals. Because here's the truth. The more you learn, the more you can earn, become, and contribute. Now I know what some people say, but Jim, I just don't have time in the morning. And to that I say, then you don't have time to grow. We always find time for what truly matters. So cut 10 minutes from scrolling, cut 15 minutes from complaining. Boom, you've just bought back your own mind, because let's be real, garbage in, garbage out. Wisdom in, wisdom out. That's why it's so important to guard the gates of your mind, especially in the morning. Feed it something strong, something useful, something that aligns with your purpose, because your life will rise or fall to the level of your thinking. And your thinking is shaped by what you consistently study. So here's your next step. Start tomorrow. Put a book by your bed. Keep a notebook at your table. Cue up an insightful podcast before you go to sleep. In the morning, turn off the noise and turn up the learning. Because when you fuel your mind early, you don't just lead the day, you dominate it. You begin from a place of power, not panic. And that, my friend, is the mark of someone building a life on purpose. But let's not stop there, because discipline isn't just mental, it's physical. And when your body moves with intention, your mind will follow. Let me say that again. When your body moves with intention, your mind follows its lead. That's why the most successful people don't just train their thoughts, they train their mornings. They train their energy. They train their momentum. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to carry this powerful sense of forward motion all day long? It's not luck. It's not magic. It's not even motivation. It's movement. They get up early, they move. And that movement creates momentum. And once momentum starts, it's hard to stop. So here's the takeaway. Build movement into your morning ritual. Walk while you think. Stretch while you reflect. Let physical motion become the switch that powers up your day. Because the alternative, you stay still. And when you stay still, you stay stuck. You hesitate. You overthink. You stall. And hesitation? That's the enemy of success. So here's a powerful truth. You don't need to feel motivated to move. You need to move to feel motivated. That principle applies to your body, your business, and your life. Motion creates emotion. Motion creates clarity. Motion creates change. So tomorrow morning, don't just wake up. Rise, stand, move, shake off the sleep, shake off the doubt. Shake off yesterday's limits and step into forward motion. Because movement may not solve everything, but it's how everything begins. Movement sparks momentum, and momentum fuels results. Now let's go deeper into one of the most overlooked success triggers of all, something simple, powerful, and often misunderstood: energy. In the last part, we talked about how physical movement in the morning doesn't just wake up your body, it awakens your confidence, clarity, and momentum. Now let's build on that idea and unlock the next level: energy activation. Because when you activate your body, everything else starts to shift. The fastest way to create energy Real, lasting energy is simple. Move your body, stretch, walk, breathe deeply. Do 10 push-ups, march in place, step outside and let the morning air fill your lungs. You don't need fancy equipment. You don't need a gym. What you need is a spark, because when you move, things start to shift. Blood begins to flow. The fog in your brain starts to clear. Ideas begin to land. Confidence begins to rise. And before you know it, momentum kicks in. That's what I call activation. And in the morning, before the emails, before the meetings, before the noise and the pull of the day, you need to activate yourself. Why does this matter so much? Because motion defeats stagnation. Stillness, while sometimes necessary for reflection, can quickly lead to stiffness, not just in your joints, but in your thinking. And let's be honest, the person who starts fast, the person who begins with forward energy, is usually the one who finishes stronger. But here's the thing, you don't need to be extreme, you need to be consistent. Even just a few minutes of intentional movement every morning can ignite your entire system. It's not about intensity, it's about identity. And while you're in motion, let's anchor that energy with two powerful forces that every successful day needs: gratitude and goals. Let me tell you something that's easy to forget, but essential to remember. How you begin your day is how you shape your life. And every morning, there are two forces you need to feed: gratitude for what is and goals for what can be. Gratitude keeps your heart centered. Goals keep your mind aligned. But most people, they wake up already in survival mode, thinking about what's broken, what's missing, what hasn't happened yet. They begin the day in lack, in worry, in mental scarcity. And here's the problem with that. If you start the day in lack, you'll live the day in limitation. If you begin your morning complaining, you carry that energy with you into conversations, into decisions, into opportunities. That's why the first few minutes of your morning should be sacred. A time to reset your lens, recalibrate your mindset, and remember this: you're alive, you're breathing, you have another chance. So begin with gratitude, and not vague, generic thank yous. Get specific. Be thankful for your health, even if it's not perfect. Be thankful for your family, even if relationships are still healing. Be thankful for opportunity, even if it's still unfolding. Because gratitude trains your eyes to see what's right, and it trains your mind to expect more of it. But make no mistake, gratitude alone won't carry you. You also need clarity, direction, and focus. That's where goals come in. The morning is the perfect time to reconnect with your why. Why are you building? Why are you pushing? Why are you choosing discipline when comfort looks easier? Write down your goals clearly. Speak them out loud, boldly. And don't just write what you want. Write who you're becoming to earn it. Want to be wealthy? Write: I'm becoming a disciplined steward of my time, energy, and talents. Want to be healthy? Write: I'm becoming someone who honors my body with every choice I make. Because goals aren't just about acquisition, they're about transformation. Here's the deeper truth. Gratitude roots you in the present. Goals pull you into your future. And when you live with both, you walk through your day with peace and power. Now, I know what some people might be thinking. But Jim, what if I don't feel grateful? What if I don't feel inspired? And here's what I say. That's exactly why you practice it. You don't wait to feel thankful. You practice gratitude until thankfulness shows up. You don't wait to feel focused. You write your goals until clarity arrives. Discipline first, emotion follows. So here's your challenge. Every morning before the world starts buzzing, before the demands of the day show up, take 5 minutes. 3 minutes for gratitude, 2 minutes for goals. Or flip it, doesn't matter. What matters is that you start your day by feeding the right forces, and next we'll build on that momentum by exploring the final key to an unstoppable day: how to protect your focus, simplify your path, and remove the hidden distractions that quietly sabotage your progress. We focused on anchoring your mornings with gratitude and goals, fueling both your heart and your focus before the noise of the world begins. But there's one more habit that ties it all together: direction. Because without direction, even the best energy gets scattered. That's why it's so important to build the habit of direction into the start of every day. If you don't decide what matters to you, your day will decide for you. And let's be honest, you probably won't like its choices. That's why tomorrow morning I challenge you to rise with both hands full, gratitude in one, hunger in the other. Be thankful for what is and hungry for what could be. That balance, that's the foundation of a life built on purpose. Let me share a phrase that completely reshaped how I live. Win the morning, win the day. Now, at first glance, that might sound too simple, almost cliché. But don't let its simplicity fool you. This is one of the most powerful disciplines you'll ever develop. Why does it work? Because how you begin determines how you continue. And how you continue determines how you finish. The average person survives the morning. They snooze, they scroll, they rush, they react. It's all chaos and catch-up from the moment they open their eyes. But the person who thrives, the disciplined one, the fulfilled one, they do something radically different. They own the morning. They rise with intention. They follow a rhythm. They don't stumble into their day. They lead it. Think of it like this. The world gets loud fast. And if you don't take time to center yourself before it begins, the chaos will center you. That's why I don't just say have a morning. I say master it. So what does winning the morning actually look like? It's not about perfection. It's not about 5-hour routines, 10-step checklists, or making ACI bowls with powdered moon dust. It's about a simple personal sequence, a few consistent actions done daily that clear your mind, wake up your body, and sharpen your spirit. Here's a blueprint that works. Wake up early, not because it's trendy, but because it gives you space. Move your body, get the blood flowing. Activate your energy. Read something wise. Feed your mind before the noise starts. Reflect, meditate, pray. Center your spirit and restore your peace. Review your goals. Remind yourself why you're doing all this. Even if you only do 1 or 2 of those things, you're already ahead of 90% of people. Because what I've learned over time is this: you don't need to conquer the whole day. Just win the first hour. Do that consistently, and everything starts to shift. Your decisions become clearer. Your responses become calmer. You stop reacting and start leading. Now, I know some people will say, Jim, I'm just not a morning person. But I'll tell you what I tell them. You don't need to be a morning person. You need to be a purpose-driven person. Purpose is what gets you out of bed. Purpose is what gives your actions structure. Purpose is what pulls you past the pillow. Because here's the truth. You're either preparing for the day, or the day is preparing something for you. And if you're not ready, life has a way of pushing you off track. But that won't be you. Not anymore. You're going to start your day on purpose. You're going to create rhythm. You're going to build momentum. And momentum? That's the secret ingredient behind all progress. Each time you win the morning, you add one more brick to the life you're building. But every time you delay, you quietly hand that brick to someone else, to distractions, to randomness, to regret. So start tomorrow. Don't wait for the perfect mood. Don't wait for a lightning bolt of motivation. Just take action. Win the morning, and the rest will follow. Now that we've built the rhythm of a purposeful start, let's shift gears, because the next step is learning how to protect your progress, how to avoid burnout, simplify your path, and stay consistent even on the hard days. Previously, we talked about how discipline in the morning sets the tone for the entire day, and how the results you create will always reflect the choices you make when the world is still quiet. But if you're truly going to win the morning, and with it, your life, you need something more than motivation. You need a system, a routine. But not just any routine, one that's yours. Let me give you a piece of advice that could save you from a lot of frustration and false starts. Don't copy someone else's routine. Craft your own. Success isn't born from imitation. It's built through intentional creation. You weren't made to live by someone else's checklist. You're here to build a rhythm that reflects your goals, your values, your responsibilities, and your pace. Now, let me be clear. That doesn't mean you can skip structure. Far from it. But your structure should be custom designed, not mass-produced. Too many people try to replicate the perfect morning they saw in a video. Wake up at 4:00 a.m., drink a green smoothie, run 10 miles, meditate for an hour, journal until the sun comes up, and by day 3, they're exhausted, discouraged, and done. Why? Because they didn't build a routine. They borrowed one. And what's borrowed never lasts. So what's the better way? Start small. Start honest. Start with one step. You don't need a flawless morning. You need a starting point, something sustainable, something real. Ask yourself, what's one thing I can do every morning that would move my life forward? Is it writing down your goals? Is it 10 minutes of stretching? Is it reading a chapter that feeds your mind? Great, start there. Because here's the secret. Consistency beats intensity. One simple habit done daily is more powerful than 10 heroic habits done once a week. Don't try to transform your life in one morning. Just change your direction and do it deliberately. When that first habit becomes second nature, add one more. Stack them, layer by layer, step by step. That's how real transformation happens. Not through pressure, but through pattern. Not in a leap, but through design. And here's something you must remember. Your routine is not a prison. It's a platform, a launchpad for clarity, creativity, and calm control. So build your routine in a way that serves your purpose, not your pride. Don't create something to impress others. Build something that actually works for you. Now, a quick warning. There will be days when you miss, when you slip, when life gets chaotic. Don't throw away the whole system. Don't abandon the structure. Just return, recommit, restart. Because the true power of a routine isn't in perfection, it's in your ability to come back to it when life gets messy. So here's what I recommend. Choose your anchor habit, the one non-negotiable. Set a fixed time each morning to begin. Keep it simple. Keep it steady. Build slowly. And protect it like your future depends on it. Because it absolutely does. You're not just organizing a morning, you're designing a life. Not a trend. Not a burst of inspiration. A life. One that reflects intention, not accident. So do it with purpose. Do it with thought. Do it one step at a time. That's how confidence is built. That's how consistency is born. That's how lasting success is created. Not overnight, but one habit, one decision, one morning at a time. Now let me make one final thing very clear. The morning is not magic. It's not mystical. It's not reserved for the elite. There's no secret formula passed down to billionaires at birth. No, my friend, the morning is simply a mirror of your priorities. That's it. If your morning feels chaotic, it's not because mornings don't work. It's because your priorities aren't working. And here's what the most successful people understand. They don't all wake up at the same hour, but they all wake up on purpose. We just explored how your morning routine isn't about copying someone else's lifestyle. It's about creating a rhythm that honors your priorities. Now let's take that truth a step further. If something truly matters to you, it shouldn't be buried under your to-do list. It should be first in line. The key. Most successful people don't all follow the same steps each morning, but they do share one thing in common. They make time for what matters most before the world starts pulling at them. That's the difference. Because here's the truth. If something is important, it belongs at the top of your day, not squeezed in at the bottom. And yet, what do most people do? They put their health last, their growth last, their mindset, their peace, their goals, all left for later. But when later finally comes, they're too tired, too distracted, too overwhelmed, too late. So let me offer you a new perspective. If it matters, schedule it first. Because if you don't make it a priority, life will make it an afterthought. That's why the morning holds so much potential. Not because it's magical, but because it's available. It's untouched. It's quiet. It's yours before the world comes knocking. And what you choose to do with that golden window, especially the first hour, says more about your real values than any motivational quote. Or big dream ever could. You say growth matters? Then show me your morning. You say health is a priority? Show me your morning. You say faith, family, focus, or freedom matter to you? Then how does your schedule reflect those standards? Because talk is easy, but your calendar tells the truth. And please don't fall for the myth of the perfect morning. There is no flawless version of this. There's only the choice to take control or not, to act with purpose or let the day act on you. Every morning gives you a fresh opportunity. A chance to put first things first, not someday, but today. Not eventually, now. And when you live with that kind of focus, priority over pressure, something powerful happens. You begin gaining traction in the very areas where you used to feel stuck. That's not luck. That's not magic. That's maturity. So, tomorrow morning, don't go hunting for a miracle. Instead, create structure. Decide what matters, and act on it before the noise of the world demands your attention. Because one of the most powerful ways to take back your life is to take back your morning. And the most powerful way to take back your morning is to treat it not like a burden or a checkbox, but like your highest priority. Let me leave you with a final thought, one that could truly shift the direction of your life. Make every morning a masterpiece. Not perfect, not dramatic, not Instagram-worthy, just deliberate, just intentional, just excellent by design. Because your morning isn't just the start of your day, it's the foundation of your future. When you wake up with discipline, you build strength of character. When you wake up with purpose, you set progress in motion. When you rise with gratitude and goals, you stop waiting for life to change. You begin creating the change. So don't let your mornings be accidents. Don't let them be rushed, scattered, or forgotten. Let them be your edge, your quiet weapon. The space where confidence is built and vision is renewed. Because here's a truth you can build a life on. Every great life is built one great day at a time. And every great day begins with a great morning. So, what will your morning say about you? Will it whisper, "I'm still tired, I'll try again tomorrow"? Or will it declare, "Today matters, and I'm ready for it"? You don't need more hours. You don't need a secret routine. You just need a simple commitment. Show up for yourself before the world asks you to show up for everything else. Wake with clarity. Move with purpose. Feed your mind. Protect your peace. Set your intention. And build the person you were born to become, one morning at a time. Because when you make the morning a masterpiece, you don't just improve your day, you transform your life. So start tomorrow differently. Don't wait for the perfect time. Create it. Because when you win the morning, you don't just change your day, you change your life. If this message inspired you, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a moment of motivation. Let's build a powerful life, one morning at a time.